What's on? Chris here from theinkslinger.co.uk. It's Word Slinger time. Got some small news this week, really. Just looking at little bitty things that have cropped up in my news feeds over the last 7 days. Got a couple of rumours surrounding DC's television and film properties. We're talking about a very exciting new Kickstarter that I found out about a couple of days ago. Also, some breaking news today on a potential new Nintendo console. And finally, I'm going to give more of a comprehensive rundown of what exactly is going on with Marvel's horrible mess, Secret Wars. But first of all, I tried my absolute hardest over the last few weeks to not make this an exclusive program about superhero news and comic book stuff. But it just seems like the most interesting news, certainly from my perspective, is coming out of these circles. So I guess I'm sort of fighting a losing battle here. But there's a couple of things that piqued my interest, as I say, in the news feeds over the last few days. First of all, is it possible that we actually have a new Green Lantern chosen? Now, as you may know, if you've been keeping up with these webisodes, I don't know. Is this a webisodal thing yet? I don't actually know. But if you've been keeping up, you might know that the current plan from DC is to release a whole truckload of movies and then the Justice League film. And in a Justice League film, they're going to have Superman, Batman, obviously both. Well, Superman's been established. Batman, Ben Affleck's new Batman. What we got? Aquaman. We've talked about Jason Momoa. We've got the Flash, not related to the TV series. We're going to have Cyborg. Oh, we're going to have a Green Lantern and Wonder Woman, of course, Gal Gadot. The real query has been surrounding the Green Lantern franchise because, as you know, that was a film some years ago now that didn't do so well, featuring Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. And the question has really been, are DC going to stick with Hal Jordan and just completely reboot it, or are they going to go with one of the other Green Lanterns from Green Lantern lore? Popular rumour has been that, or certainly popular speculation has been that DC will actually go with Jon Stewart. We've talked about this before. The character Jon Stewart, that is, not an actor. And then, of course, I spoke a couple of weeks ago about the fact that actually it is Hal Jordan who is part of DC's current Justice League lineup. Now, coming in on news wires over the last couple of days has been a possibility that Chris Pine of the Star Trek movie franchise might be up for the role of Hal Jordan. I said it was probably going to be Hal Jordan. And I'm quite pleased. I would like that. I would enjoy Chris Pine. As you might remember me saying before, I liked the last Green Lantern film. I know I'm like the only one, but I would have gone with a sequel for that. I don't think it necessarily needs a reboot. I don't like reboots anyway, as you know. Chris Pine, though, I think that's a good choice. I think he could do a very good job of being sort of brash, sort of slightly irresponsible, maybe unpredictable, very, very Hal Jordan. So more news on that when it surfaces. It is just a rumour at the moment. There's no clear, solid casting. It would be great, but 2020 is a long way off in movie land. Another piece of DC news that I picked up over the last, I think it was only 24 hours ago, is a possibility that there might be a storyline coming to CW's The Flash that I'm particularly fond of, and that is the Flashpoint storyline. Now, why is this of any interest? Well, actually, if you're not aware of it, Flashpoint was the 5-issue miniseries that essentially wiped out the pre-New 52 DC Universe continuity and then replaced it with New 52. Essentially, the Flash goes back in time, causes some ruckus. When he gets back to the present day, it's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. He's changed the entire world. That was DC as everyone knew it, just gone. And actually, over the course of that miniseries, which was a good few months, I think 3 months, like every single book was rebranded under the World of Flashpoint moniker, and everything was different. Like the characters were different, the storylines were different. So that was DC Universe gone. At the end of Flashpoint, Flash fixes it all, and then mysteriously it doesn't go back to normal, although there's deeper subtext, but we won't go into it here. And we end up with the New 52 universe as it has been for the last 3 years. Has it been 2011? So we're actually pushing 4 years in New 52. The reason I thought this was worth a mention is I thought this was maybe a bold storyline to go for in certainly a very fledgling TV series. My assumption is that they won't actually go for the full ramifications of Flashpoint. It will be more like goes back in time, it all goes a bit hokey when he gets back, and then restores things conveniently exactly the way they were. But I guess more on that as it surfaces. Something not related to DC Comics, I saw a really exciting news about a new Kickstarter over the last couple of days, and that is a remake of a beloved 1995 classic. No, I'm not talking about Magic Carpet, although that would be... Would that be epic? Would that actually be really dreadful? Magic Carpet. I don't know. It was not Magic Carpet anyway, so I'll shut up about it. Descent. 1995. Can you believe that Descent is really a 20-year-old game? Anybody watching this video now who is aged, I guess, less than 25, 27, is not even going to necessarily have any real memory of Descent. Descent was a fantastic game. It was in the very, very early days of 3D, when we didn't really have proper 3D engines. I remember the original Doom, and there was this big, and I used to do a lot of modding for Doom back in the day, and there was a lot of hoo-ha about the fact that it appeared to be 3D, where you couldn't have your player standing here and then go to an area that was directly above. Okay, the player could change levels, but they were like this. Okay, so you would have to have a solid surface between the levels. Descent, I kind of think that Descent actually fitted in with this model, although it did a very clever job of it. It was about essentially flying a spaceship around space mines full of space, I think, evil sentient spaceships, I think is what it was. But you essentially piloted this spaceship, but it gave a very good impression of 3D. I want to say that it wasn't full 3D, because I'm almost certain that Quake, possibly Duke Nukem 3D, were the first games to actually use actual 3D, where you could go direct, that sort of thing. Descent gave a very, very good impression of 3D, which was very important back in those days, because the technology just didn't exist to do it. Of just flying around these tunnels where you could go in full 360 degrees, and it was essentially a space simulator, something that very sadly seems to have died out. And so, yes, it's being rebooted. I hate that word, reboot. It's being remade. They're not just slapping new graphics on it. They are making a brand new game. They're going to have some customizable ships. I think there might be some multiplayer option. It looks really exciting. Their target, I think, is 650,000. I assume American dollars. Last time I checked, they were up to about 100 and something. So if you're interested in Descent, if you're interested in this Kickstarter, you can go to this horribly long address down at the bottom of the screen. To be honest, if you just go onto Google and type Descent Kickstarter, that will give you everything you need to know. Excuse me. So, in different news, just a couple of hours ago, it looks like Nintendo are finally thinking about bringing out a new console. And that's probably a good thing. I don't have a Wii U, so I can't really complain about the Wii U. But that controller, really... I did have a Wii. I do have a Wii. I still have my Wii. And I loved my Wii. It was actually my first kind of real current gen console, because I got my Xbox a lot later and I didn't really play console games before that. So I did like my Wii and I liked the games. But the problem with the Wii, as you know, if you probably own one, because everyone in the world has one, which is why it has a second-hand value of about a tenner these days, is that there was about 20 billion games, of which 2 of them were any good. And that's New Super Mario Brothers and Mario Kart and a couple of others. Okay, but there was very, very few games that were any good for the Wii. The Wii U, I think it's kind of maybe continuing with this. The problem with the Wii U is that it's a generation behind, and it looks like it sucks as a console. This is just my personal opinion. Actually, all of this is my personal opinion, so whatever, I'll just run with it. I don't think the Wii U was a particularly good move. They should have gone next gen. They just are not going to compete, and the sales figures are showing it. In fact, the handheld gaming is reigning supreme for Nintendo, the 3DS, and its various iterations. But Nintendo, I think, are finally ready to fight back, which is probably a good thing, because it was looking for a little while like they might actually go under. Not go under, that's a massive exaggeration, but they might be in some amount of trouble as a result of that, their bad console making decisions. So the current rumor floating around is that Nintendo have announced something called Nintendo NX, which is a good departure from the Wii family, I think. And all we know at the moment is that it's going to be a next generation dedicated gaming machine. So that's a quote. And they're going to come up with some kind of a new membership service. I guess that means a lot along the lines of Xbox Live and PlayStation. PlayStation Network, is it PSN? I've never asked what the N stands for. So they're going to come up with a new membership service, and they say it's going to encompass the existing Wii and 3DS frameworks, as well as PCs, and I kind of hope Macs as well, and smart devices, so I guess smartphones and tablets, as well as the Nintendo NX. So more news on that as that surfaces as well. Okay, so the main feature on Marvel's Secret Wars comic event overran significantly, and so I've decided to split the episode this week into 2 clips. So thanks for watching this clip, and if you're interested in finding out about Battle World and the horrendous mess Marvel are making of their comics, tune in to the Word Slinger episode 6.2 or 0.5, the Marvel Secret Wars special event. Until then, I'll see you on Twitter at Lord_Chancellor, and I'll see you at www.theinkslinger.co.uk. Goodbye.